Let me ask you guys, how many of you feel that 1x10 is way too small? Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven with your weekly figure news fix, this time around 29th September to 4th of October 2025. And this is also the week right before Wonder Festival Shanghai. Well, it is actually the week of One Fest in fact. One Fest Shanghai started at around Wednesday or Thursday, and then it stretches over a span of 4 days. So that means this is a very busy week for figure pre-orders. It is a week of financial ruin for those of you who are big fans of whatever that is currently trending. So this will be one of the longest figure news fix weeks of the year. And that is not all. In roughly a couple of days, I will drop another video on my coverage of One Fest Shanghai. That's right. So this is a busy week for me as well. I'm also covering 5 additional figures from last week's pre-order, which I missed out because they went on pre-order late on Saturday last week, right after I finished recording last week's figure news, right? So we have a long way to go. Without further ado, let's move on to Hobby Link Japan. HLJ is a partner of this channel when it comes to genuine licensed PVC figures, and later on in the third party section we have OzGK. I've selected all of the scale figures I want to cover as usual, and if you're planning on purchasing or pre-ordering literally anything from HLJ or OzGK, please do make use of my links down in the descriptions below to enter these websites, or you can click on a link that occasionally appears on the top right corner of this video. Works the same way, and that is how you support this channel. Right, starting off, well, not the largest scale, but I want to get this thing out of the way first. This is a resin figure from the looks of it, and based on the dimensions of over 40 centimeters in height and over 50 in width, this is roughly 1/6 scale, even though there is no scale on paper. Coming from first 4 figures of Metal Gear Solid Cyborg Ninja statue, 128,000 yen, October release next year. Kind of nice, not the kind of thing I would collect, but reminds me of the stuff that you'll see Prime 1 Studio and a few other licensed resin figure brands make. 128k is just about right for this kind of dimensions, this kind of size over here, and not to mention resin is a more expensive material in general. Here we have a size comparison. Interesting. I wish that more figure brands would give us photos like this, no? Direct comparison with an actual human being. That would be nice for sure. This is huge. Moving up next, now we truly enter the 1/4 scale territory, and this is following up last week's 1/4 scale. What was the name again? Raiko, right? Yeah. This week we get Murasaki Shikibu Bunny Girl style by Freeing from FGO, 40,000 yen, releasing in May 2026. Obviously, they come as a set, as you can see over here. If you get one, you need the other. And I think this pair of bunny girls are really great looking bunny girls. And if money is no object, I would go for it. Yes. Both are Raita style artwork, which is something I'm normally not a big fan of, you know, like big melons on the chest, and then the waist is very slender, very slim, really weird, unrealistic proportions, but this is FGO, and I love FGO, so why not? I only wish that I can afford both just like that. Yeah, 40k is rough. Moving on to the next one here, we have a re-release of Makima from Chainsaw Man. Yep, last week we got Power, this week we get Chainsaw Man, and I mean Makima, and these things, they sell themselves, right? I can criticize them all day for being plain bunny girls without much going on, and for that reason 35k is pretty pricey over here compared to the FGO figure earlier, which we get quite a bit more detail for additional 5,000 yen, and there is no FGO tax. More like it doesn't feel like there is any, right? I discussed that in detail last week, but this is truly a plain black bunny suit, 35k. Very expensive, but people will buy them anyway, judging by how popular the first release was and how high the value went. So pre-order it if you missed out your first chance back then. Moving up next. So A Dimension, Chinese brand I believe. A ninja and an assassin under one roof, Satoko Kusagakure Dekai Opai version. Okay, 25k at 1/4 scale for those giant melons. It is a good value. And what you're seeing on screen over here, if you want some context, you need to watch at least the anime adaptation. I believe it just finished airing, right? I'm only 2 episodes in. It was hilarious. Just that I haven't had the time to finish it yet. So I haven't seen that particular scene that involves what we saw in this figure over here. I'm gonna guess that there has to be some secret ninja skill that she has that allows her to modify her body. Like some comedy anime, they can get pretty ridiculous, and I'm not too surprised by what I'm seeing over here. Just that I would never expect something like this to be made into an actual figure. Will we get the normal version at 1/4 scale from A Dimension in future? Maybe. We don't know yet. Maybe. But I wonder how many people would pre-order this and then openly display it on the shelf or in their room and let everyone see it. That would be pretty interesting, just to watch people's reactions. In fact, if I really could, I would want one of these figures. I buy it, I display it at home, and then each time there is a guest, it does not matter if it is my own parents or it is my own relatives, my own friends, doesn't matter who it is, film every single one of their reactions and compile everything into a video. That would be fantastic. But you know what? I don't really get guests or visitors in my home very often. So yeah, doesn't work for me. Moving on to the next one. This is perhaps one of the best 1/4 skills this week, despite the existence of that FGO figure, for a very simple reason, that face of hers. Shikaku Public Health Dr. Yumiko Yasaka, illustrated by Kesoshiro. And for some reason, she looks a bit like that Dongtan character, right? That Korean waifu character from the previous weeks. 10,000 yen by Hobby Rangers at 1/4 scale. Yes, Chinese brand. A very new brand. We don't know much about this brand yet. And releasing in August 2026. So this is totally my kind of thing. Like, putting aside her melons, which is a tad bit huge, but I'm not complaining. I still love them. I mean, her face, her character design, the hairstyle, it is my kind of woman in a way. So I love this so much, and I can see myself buying it after release. Yeah, I won't pre-order too early, but I will be keeping an eye on this. And man, I really wish that my supervisor when I was in college and in medical school looks like this. That would be fantastic, but it never happens in real life. Must have. It is a must-have for 1/4 scale collectors, right? That face expression where she is kind of like irritated or stressed out, anxious maybe, looks fantastic. And it is the kind of face expressions that we rarely see in anime figures in general. And I would say that this part, the face, is what that makes this figure kind of unique compared to other 1/4s. So to pick one up. Right, moving on to the next figure over here, we have 3 Azur Lane figures. I've grouped them together just to make things a bit easier for me. So the first one here is a 1/4 scale New Jersey anniversary swimsuit version by Freeing 30k, May release next year. And I am telling you guys right now to stay away from this thing. Do not pre-order it early, because after this figure comes out, if she comes out in May, by August, you will be paying 20,000 yen for her, not 30k. Yes. You can head to Ami right now, and I believe it is also in stock in HLJ. I believe. Could have changed, right, since the day I recorded this video, but you guys know about the pretty famous Bunny Girl version. That one bargain binned by half, from 60k down to slightly over 30k. It has been permanently discounted for many months, and Ami still has leftover stock because Freeing has overproduced these things into oblivion. Overstock, right? Too many of them. So do not pre-order this thing at full price. You will regret it. If you have 30k to spend on a New Jersey figure that is 1/4 scale, I would rather you go out and buy the pole dancing bunny version, which is still in stock at the time of recording this video, half price. That is a better figure than this lazy plain and boring looking Barney girl figure. I get it, this is a bikini figure, and maybe if you use some force, you might be able to cast it off, but still, I would tell you to get the Barney version first, even though the shipping cost on that is going to be a lot pricier than this one, right? Because figures that are kneeling pose or sitting pose like this, even if they are 1x4, the footprint is much smaller, both the figure and the box a lot cheaper to ship. But still, if you can, go for the pole dancing Barney version first, even though the base on that figure is kind of horrible, yeah. Moving up to the next Azur Lane figure over here, this is a 1x5 by Alter. Alter has started making 1x5s, right? I have mentioned that in Mega Hobby Expo coverage a week ago. But at that time, I wasn't aware that this Taiho figure was a 1x5. They also announced another 1x5 figure, also Azur Lane, I think. I can't remember which character. I wasn't aware this is a 1x5. And at this scale, only 27,000 yen, releasing in December next year, 2026. And not just that, at 27k, you are getting an additional pair of Oppai, a slightly different shaped one, where you can swap things out. Interesting, right? So, Alter, sometimes they really confuse me with their pricing strategy. They can give us a 1x7 scale New Jersey at over 50,000 yen, and then everyone were complaining. And then suddenly they give us a 1x5 scale Taiho at half the price, literally. And you get extra parts in the box. Sure, this is a simpler figure, right? Less detailed, simpler figure. But the price gap still doesn't make much sense to me. Way too big of a price gap. Yes, go for it. Absolutely. If you like what you are looking at, go for it. And I would rather display this figure with the default chest, which I mentioned in Mega Hobby Expo once again. When her Oppai is being squeezed, it looks more natural and it looks more detailed when it comes to sculpting. The third Azur Lane figure over here, this is a 1x7. We have Strasbourg Ferry of the Race Circuit version by Apex Toys, 21,400 yen, October release 2026. This one is fantastic. I love it, right? So if you are not into 1x4 scales, free input a 1x4 of the same exact version, different pose but same exact race queen version on pre-order 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago. But if that is too much for you, this is worth looking at. Apex Toys makes excellent figures at a very reasonable price point. And this one, yes, it should be a no-brainer addition to your collection if you love Azur Lane. The pose and everything, the sculpting, nice. Moving up next, we have a 1x6 scale Sister Ikuno. So now we are in 1x6 scale territory. And the first two figures over here are low-budget figures. This low-budget Sister Ikuno is by Young Lady, a brand that I have criticized over and over again. But that is mostly a subjective criticism because I never liked their character designs. I haven't been fair to them, I suppose. 14,500 yen, August release. Yes, there are no signs of this figure being cast offable, but that could be a surprise feature. You can remove her head and remove the top piece over here on her chest, and you can see her Oppai in their full glory. They won't advertise the figure as cast offable, but I suspect that you can do that without much effort. Yeah. After all, this is a Chinese brand, so there are limitations to what they can do. They need to follow the laws in China, right? And as for this figure, once again, I'm not a fan of it. I love Ahegao faces, right? But this one, it feels like I'm looking at some kind of adult doll, if you get what I mean. Yeah. It looks like those inflatable dolls people bang when they can't afford an actual 1x1 scale statue that costs $4,000, $5,000. Then you buy the inflatable doll, you know. I think you know what I'm referring to. It looks like one of those things, and that is the reason why I don't like. So this is more of me not liking the character design in a way. Yeah. If it is a kind of thing, then hey, only 14,500 yen at 1/6 scale. Moving on to the next one here. This is a really good one from Koi, Chinese brand. Yep. Sakura L. 9,000 yen May release. So the first thing that came to mind when I saw this figure was DMM Factory's made mason figures at 1/6 scale. Those things were 30,000 yen each. And this is 1/3 of the price, less than 1/3. Of course, the quality, the detailing part won't be as good as the ones by DMM Factory, but at the same time, you had to ask yourself, are those made mason figures by DMM Factory 3 times as good as this one to warrant a price of 30k each? I don't know. Yeah, that is subjective, right? Every person, they have a different way of determining value when it comes to consumer products in general or collectibles. This one is a good addition for any one of you who want to collect budget Chinese figures. I have already reviewed one figure from this brand. It is mostly excellent, so you can expect this one to turn out really nice as well. Yeah. Moving up to the next one, 1/6 scale Xion Elfin cheerleader version illustrated by SG. This is the DX version, 20k with the wall scroll. Yeah, thick cheerleaders, and you get to remove her skirt. Only the skirt, unfortunately. This is made by Hanabi. I almost assumed that this figure is by Hobby Sakura. This looks like something they would make, right? But no, this is by Hanabi, right? Also a Chinese figure brand. They normally make low budget figures, but now they are slowly venturing into premium scale figures. I haven't purchased anything from them yet, but based on pictures I've seen online by other users, yep, great stuff coming from Chinese brands. I don't think we can go wrong if you like this one. There is a standard version without the wall scroll figure only for roughly 18k. I did not open a new tab because I have so many tabs already. So this is for those of you who love cheerleader girls. Up next, Union Creative 1/6 scale Chihiro illustration silver hair Chan. Ginpatsu Chan, right, her name. 25k at 1/6 February release. If I wasn't so poor, I would have pre-ordered this already. I like this so much. I don't need any cast-off features, okay? That would be nice to have, but I don't need that. She is perfect the way she is. She is cute. I want her on my shelf, man. But yeah, Nikke is robbing me dry. Now, the thing with Union Creative original characters is that the pricing can go either way. It could go up, it could bargain bin. I don't know how to predict this one. But the thing is that a lot of lolly characters, they do go up in value. Just that it hasn't happened to Union Creative figures yet. Yeah. And there are other 18 plus figure brands who are making different versions of Ginpatsu-chan. Saw it in One Fest, I think. So we will see. Maybe I'll go for the 18 plus version. But I like this one a lot already. Yeah. Moving up next, from Ascendia, Chinese brand, we have a 1/6 scale Machi art pajamas version, illustration by Machi, deluxe edition, 18,800 yen, releasing in August next year. And I forgot to turn off my ringtone over here. It is a nuisance. Alright. So Machi art appeared to be pretty popular. I just reviewed a figure which is also a Machi art character just 2 days ago, the one by Happy Topi, and people seemed to like artwork from this artist. So I can see this one being quite popular, even though this is just a normal pretty girl with her clothes open and her lingerie visible. It is still a very attractive character, right? There is a standard version, roughly 2,000 yen cheaper as usual if you don't want the bonus items in the box, which is most likely a print again, a wall scroll, yeah. Moving up next, we have Wild Melody, also Chinese brand. 1/6 scale Kiki illustration by RST Deluxe Edition, 20k, and there is also a standard version around 18k. July release next year. Wild Melody is a very new brand. They don't have many figures yet. I'm not sure if they have any released yet, so there's nothing I can say about their quality. Though nowadays, I would rather trust Chinese brands than Japanese brands when it comes to a very new brand that does not have any track record, right? You need to know that competition is extremely stiff in China. They can't afford to screw up. You can compare this to smartphones or even EVs, electric cars, right? the competition over in China is so cutthroat that they can't afford to screw up. Once they ruin their reputation, that is it. They cannot compete with others, right? So these Chinese brands, they actually put in effort to make things look good. Yeah, you may have the occasional minor QC issues, but not bad enough to be a deterrent. They often get the faces right at least, so you won't have to worry about the face part at least. And as for this figure, her pose is so suggestive that I'm just playing it safe over here by putting my own pic on top, a cropped picture. You can roughly tell what the pose is, and you do get an additional part for her hips, for her thighs, and her lower body, right? Where it is made of soft, squeezable material. And I'm not sure why they are giving us this option, but at this price point over here, not complaining. Don't lie to me. I know that some of you watching this, you love to bury your faces inside, in between the thighs of a hot woman, right? Soft, squishy thighs. Yeah, that is my kind of thing as well. Anyways, new feature that I've never seen before. They usually use soft materials on the chest region, on the opai, but not on the thighs, on the leg. So this is pretty interesting. Moving up next, we have one of the worst figures of the week. Okay, I'm just being unfair to Square Enix at the moment. This is because of their poor track record when it comes to quality control. Their figures often turn out looking worse than what was being promised in the official product pictures. So I still need to warn you guys about it. This is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Static Arts Aerith Gainsborough swimsuit version, 27K non-scale, February release. Even though it is non-scale, their figures tend to be quite big, closer to 1/6. So pre-order it at your own risk. Yeah. Moving up next, we have a 1/6 scale Snowbreak Containment Zone Acacia Magical Girl Renge-chan Deluxe version by Omaha. This is from last Saturday, actually, more than a week ago. 23,300 yen, August release 2026. Omaha is a bit of an oddball in a way that they are mixing things up. They also make 18 plus figures, and they also make perfectly normal figures like this. They have been doing more normal stuff lately, maybe because they sell better, right? Edgy figures, they are kind of niche after all. So deluxe version, you're getting Ball Skull, I believe. Let me have a look. Oh yeah, the display is different. I just remembered. So the deluxe version, you're getting something like a bento box and then you display the figure in the center. And then there is a standard version without that for roughly 21k, right? I did not open a new tab for the standard version. So naturally, go for the deluxe version if you can, a nicer display for not too much money. And Omaha, their figures are mostly okay. They did have one screw up. I think it was 2 years ago, an Edgy figure where the parts were not fitting properly, and then they actually issued replacement parts, but that was for China. For everyone's internationally, I wasn't sure how, the people who bought the figure collected their replacement parts, but at least they owned up to their mistakes. But since then, since that incident 2 years ago, haven't heard anything bad about them. So this might be a safe pre-order. This is not a customable figure, I mean. So you don't have to worry about part fitting issues, right? Hopefully you don't have to. Not like my Hu Tao figure from Apex Toys recently. Moving on to the next one, 1/6 scale Kawa Design, Chinese brand. Normally a low budget brand, but just like Hanabi earlier, they are venturing into more premium figures. 1/6 scale Girls Frontline Through Exilum, Helen DP12 Starlit Waltz version, 16k, August release. Oh, big Helen's big badongas on her chest, which looks nice. And the problem I have with these pictures over here is that I don't really get a closer look, a clearer look on her face, because I'm always looking at her from this angle no matter which picture I go for. But I would say that maybe I don't have to worry too much. Like I said earlier, Chinese brands, I haven't seen them screw up a figure's face in a long time, in many years, regardless of which brand. So this is also potentially a good purchase for those of you collecting girls' frontline stuff. 16k is pretty low, yeah. Moving up next, okay, 1/6 scale Nikke figure. Is this like the first one? All Nikke scale figures are either 1/7 or 1/4. and 1x10 scale by Hobby Sakura, right? 1x6, this has to be a first. And when I saw this figure of Noise Classic Diva by Hatsune Miku, the first thing that came to mind was displaying this figure next to my Max Factory Nikke figure. What was her name again? But the problem is, different scale, 1x7, 1x6, and that is so annoying. Yes, bigger is often better, that is what she said, but it can be annoying when you collect a series of figures from this franchise, from this game on anime, and then every single one of them are of different sizes. When you display them next to each other, it looks a bit odd to me, and I know this is probably just me, right? Because I have this OCD, these kind of things, they bother me a bit, just a bit, but hey, this is a good purchase for 27k because my Max Factory 1x7 scale Nikke figure cost me like 30,000 yen, and it is a smaller figure than this one. Because Chinese brands, they give us a better value, right? Yes, Hatsune Miku is Chinese brand, and in case you guys are unaware of, it is a branch of Cosmos Sora. Cosmos Sora is also a very small brand, not many new releases yet, so it is a small company. Why start a new branch now, right? Sometimes I don't understand, but it is not like I know what goes on behind the scenes. They have maybe 2 or 3 figures out. Yeah, not many, right? And you can look for user pictures in MFC. Just search for Cosmos Sora, because this brand, Hatsune Miku, somehow, myfigurecollection.net, the admins does not recognize its existence yet. So this figure of Noise, if you go to MFC and search for it, it is under Cosmos Sora. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one here. Oh, this is a must pre-order for me. And it is so painful because I'm paying 36,000 yen for a 1x7 scale figure. Coming from Hobby Sakura, Goddess of Victory Nikke, Little Mermaid Abyss Flower Deluxe Edition. Yep, and there is a standard version for 34k as well. Releasing in November next year. Fortunately, my November 2026 is still empty. I can afford to pre-order this and not worry about having too much stuff in one single month. Just that Kotobukiya is also making a figure of Little Mermaid. No prototype yet, very early stage. So, in case this is too much for you, yes, wait for Koto, which is likely to be quite a bit cheaper, right? Kotobukiya stuff are kind of on the lower side of pricing, even when it comes to scale figures and compared to other brands. So, Kotobukiya version, I would expect it to be maybe 25k. Maybe, yeah. This is an additional 10,000 yen, but I think quite highly of Hobby Sakura, and I'm gonna go for it regardless. Yeah, this is beautiful. Moving up next, a third Nikke figure from Alter. We have Soda Barney version, 21,800 yen, releasing in October next year. Yeah, I can see you guys smashing the pre-order buttons already, especially if you love Barney girls. But for this Soda, I am not going to pre-order early yet. I am going to be very careful with what I pre-order, very selective over here. After she comes out, if that specific month my budget is okay, then I will add her into my shopping cart as an impulsive immediate purchase. Yeah. So the reason why I am a bit reluctant to pre-order this one is also because of the 1x4 scale coming from Kotobukiya. And it is not just about scale at this point. I think that the pose on that is slightly nicer, or at least I prefer that. At the same time, you know, I mentioned this before in my Mega Hobby Expo coverage. I mentioned that 1x7 scale and 1x4 scale are two separate things, right? So I'm just being careful with my spending over here. Yeah. Moving up next, we have 1x10 scale Hobby Sakura, Noah, and Blanc from Nikke, 15,000 yen as a set, or you can pre-order them separately for 7,500 yen each. And why would you do that? This pair are a set, right? You need to get both, so get the set over here for 15k. But let me ask you guys, how many of you feel that 1x10 is way too small? Yeah, it is definitely way too small to me. I never liked Pop-Up Parade, the standard Pop-Up Parade, because they felt way too small. But this isn't the first time a figure brand has attempted a budget line of 1x10 scale figures. Earlier than Good Smile, Before Good Smile even introduced the pop-up rate line, we used to have Wave Corporation and their 1x10 scale Beach Queen series swimsuit figures, 1x10 scale. They were scale figures and they were roughly 5,000 yen each. That was a thing 10 to 15 years ago, no longer a thing today. So I'm not sure why Hobby Sakura is attempting 1x10 scale budget figures because they are not exactly cheap. 1x10, 7,500 yen. Meanwhile, we have Apex Toys and their Lime Pie series or Mietos and their Gift Plus series 1x8 scale at 6,000 yen. So this is not very competitive in comparison. They should have made it 1x8 scale. Yes, 1x8 scale, 7,500 yen, fine. But maybe don't go all out with the quality and the intricacy, the paint detail, because the more I look at this picture over here, the more they look like proper expensive scale figures. They are probably going for a very high quality finish with the paintwork, not different from any scale figure out there of other bigger scales, right? But I'm not sure if that is a good strategy. Basically, this is similar to Bandai's Figure Arts Zero. They are small figures, but they are very expensive, 9,000 to 11,000 yen. But the quality, the paint quality, the sculpts and everything, they are pretty much premium scale figure level. And I'm not sure if this strategy is sound. Yeah. Moving on to the next one here from Hobby Sakura again, we have a 1x7 scale Wuthering Waves Verena 21k. This is from last Saturday as well, just like that Little Mermaid figure earlier, it was from last Saturday. Releasing in June next year. So we are finally getting some Wuwa figures. Though, what about the main characters? The ones that the third parties have been pushing out? Yeah, I haven't seen many. I don't think so. The thing with Wuwa is that in my country, in Malaysia, I see a lot of people playing this game, a lot of artists doing fan artwork and selling them in anime conventions. It is very popular over here, but in the world of anime figures, it feels like people doesn't care at all. At least this is based on my own observations. I look at the community in MFC, in Reddit, in my own Discord server as well. When people discuss about new figures on pre-order every day, every week, and I don't see people talking about Wuwa. So, yeah, interesting observation where people don't seem to care as much. I get it. It is probably insanely popular in China, and given the population in China, that alone is enough justification to make the figure, right? But everywhere else, yeah, I don't see people talking about it. Not the figures at least. Up next, from Apex Toys again, we have Needy Girl Overdose Ame-chan. 19,500 yen, October release. I have no idea why when I saw the name Ame, I automatically added the word Chan behind in my head. But anyways, Needy Girl Overdose is a franchise and I assume it is a VTuber, right? Or maybe, I have no idea. But anyways, it is a series that I have ignored all this while, not interested, but when I saw this figure by Apex Toys painted, I was like, wow, I want it, this is nice. Maybe it is the TVs on the floor, I'm not sure. Yeah, old school CRT televisions, but that pose as well, taking a selfie. I love this figure so much that I might buy it after release and add it to my collection just because I like the character design. Yeah, I won't pre-order it now, but I like this one a lot. Moving up next, we have Good Smile Company 1x7 scale Hatsune Miku Japan Live Tour 2025 Blooming. 40,600 yen. Ouch. That means over 45k, right? Including Japanese taxes. One of the most expensive Miku figures out there. For a good reason. I mean, this thing is so complex, so detailed that it feels a tad bit excessive. Yeah. Man, this is crazy. Are there any Miku figures out there that cost more than 45,000 yen? 45. I know there were a few that were in the high 30s, like 38k, 40k as well. But higher than 45k, this could be the first one, I think. Of course, I was referring to including Japanese taxes. This is 41k. This is still one of the most expensive Miku scale figures ever made. And let's hope they get it right because Good Smile and their Miku figures, sometimes it can be luck, right? I have reviewed very expensive Miku figures from Good Smile that had QC issues, especially on the hair. Yeah, and depending on which branch or which factory is in charge of the manufacturing, the quality control could be different. That's the thing. So, Good Smile's Miku figures, they were... how do I put it? In general, they were not as good as their FGO figures, their Fate series figures. Yeah, their Saber stuff. I don't know why, because they charged so much for it. They should be just as good, if not better. Moving up next, this thing came out of nowhere, and I have no idea where she is from. What is Knives Out? Is it a game? I know nothing at all. But when she went on pre-order, I was like, wow, is this... is this from Girls France Line? I want it. Oh, it isn't. So we have Diane Banquet Dance by Good Smile, 22,700 yen, July release next year. This week is too good when it comes to figure pre-orders, and I just couldn't afford to hit pre-order on everything. I really wish I could. This thing is fabulous, right? And there are so much things going on. This is a pretty complex figure. You are getting nice colors. You're getting a long dress, a rifle, and even a single-seater sofa over there and a nice base. A lot of things going on. And I see a rifle case behind her, right? Yes. A lot of stuff going on for 23,000 yen. This is insane value. I want it just because of the character design. I like the design a lot, right? I have always been the kind of person who buys figures based on character design alone. I don't need to know anything about the character. Just that this rifle case is a tad bit too small for what she is holding. I know that you disassemble a firearm before you put it in the case, but still, it looks a tad bit too small to fit everything in, including the scope and so on, right? Yeah, a tad bit small. Sometimes I'm too realistic for my own good. I think in a very realistic way, and then when something is unrealistic or doesn't make sense, it bothers me a bit. This is already one of the best figures this week, even though I know nothing about her. Moving up next, we have two figures from Gridman Universe. The first one here, we have Rika Takarada X Grid version by Design Coco. 32,000 yen, very expensive, but I think the price is justified because pretty complex figure, right? You have extra mecha parts next to her and that base over there. Releasing in March 2026. That is pretty soon. March 2027. I thought it was impossible for this thing to come out in 6 months to begin with. March 2027. Wow. You hit a pre-order button and then you forget she exists until the year after, right? I guess that Shinjo Akane would be next week. Yeah. Because the next figure is by Good Smile. But back to this figure of Rika over here. Design Coco, their scale figures are good. But I did not like their El Coco low budget figures. They are trash, right? But their scale figures, don't worry, they make great stuff. So pre-order it if you like what you are looking. But between the two Gridman Universe figures over here, this is the one I like the most. This is almost Mecha Musume and I kind of want it. This week is too good. This week's figure pre-orders, right? So we have Akane Shinjo Chaos New Order featuring Saitom. That explains why she looks so good. Saitom art, of course. 26,000 yen, almost. October release next year. Jeez. I have been avoiding Gridman Universe. I've been trying my best to avoid it, even though it is only two characters, right? It is always Akane Shinjo and Rika Takarada. So it is not exactly expensive to collect a pair of figures that I really like. Now, this one over here, they have my attention. And Good Smile, I just love my Mecha Musumes sometimes. Alright, moving on to the next one, we have a re-release of Tsukuya Kana from Niji Sanji. 18,000 yen by DMM Factory, February release next year. Well, it is Niji Sanji. It is VTuber, extremely popular, even though I have no interest in it. So I'm not too surprised by this re-release either, and she looks really good. Especially from this angle, I like this picture a lot. Yeah, 18k is a great price. Sometimes I have to wonder, how does DMM Factory decide their pricing, because they have really overpriced stuff, but this one is very well priced. Moving on to the next one. Alright, this Marin Kitagawa from Mega Hobby Expo last week is now on pre-order. Q skill, 1x7 scale, 18,000 yen, June release. My opinion, a bit expensive, 18k. This feels like a 15k figure. I know my my cheapskateness is showing, but last week I complained about her body proportions where her waist is almost invisible in a way. Now in this official product pictures over here, it looks quite a bit better. I can see her waist now. Like, I'm not sure if it is a matter of angle the photo was being taken, or once again it is a camera lens being the fault. I think it is camera lens, right? When you have wide angle lens, you have distortion, and then they stretched out the size of her head and maybe the length of her legs, and then it feels like her waist is missing. That is what it felt like to me last week when I saw the event pictures. Now I get to see Marin Kitagawa from various different angles. She looks a bit better over here, but still this feels very low effort coming from Q-Skill, because I know they can do better. Maybe they are trying to offer a low budget figure, right? They don't want to make anything too expensive. But will I pick this one over a figure of Marin by Aniplex, for example? Maybe not. This is like 4th or 5th place in rankings in terms of my favorite Marin Kitagawa figure. Probably not even in top 5 if I factor in Alter and the other versions of her, the cosplay versions released and so on. Yeah. So I suppose that this is a better buy than the Good Smile swimsuit version. 13,000 yen, right? Yeah, this is a better buy than that, but buy today in 2025, in 2026, there is so much competition, so many Marin Kitagawa figures that you are spoiled for choice, and this one is like right in the middle of the pack, not near the top, not near the bottom, so quite hard to recommend, to be honest. Moving on to the next one, we have Alice Chan by Max Factory, 24,300 yen, October release 2026. Now, one of the saddest things about Max Factory as a brand is that they are among the best figure brands out there. I actually regard them as S tier, but their figures regularly bargain bin, and I predict the same thing to happen to this one, so I cannot recommend you guys to pre-order this figure too early. This figure feels like a pair to be displayed next to MX Chan, right? The one that came out more than a year ago. I think it was MX Chan, the name. And that figure bargain bins like crazy. 35% off or so in Ami sale section. It was over 30k, right? That one was almost 30,000 yen. 30,000 yen. And 6 months after release, you can find MX Chan for 20,000 yen. And I'm afraid the same thing would happen to this figure. In fact, Max Factory's Nikke figures are also getting heavily discounted. So can't say you should pre-order this one too early. Might be a bad decision. At the same time, with the current geopolitical situation with tariffs and so on, that means many people are cancelling their pre-orders and they have excess inventory as a result. That is also making things worse when it comes to bargain binning. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have the most underwhelming figure of this week. This one and that figure by Square Enix earlier, Final Fantasy Airy figure. These two are the most underwhelming figures of the week, simply because there are too many good stuff going on. We have A Dimension, Chinese brand. The Detective is Already Dead Siesta swimsuit version, 8,000 yen only, July release. Well, at least it is low budget, but the colors are so bland, so washed out, and I'm not attracted to the figure at all. Even at a low price of 8k, I don't feel any urge to want it. Yeah, the colors is a problem over here. And for this character, Siesta, there are not many scales of her. There are 2 or 3 other options out there, not many, but for a seasonal anime character, she actually got scale figures when I think about it. Interesting. Expensive ones as well. I think something low budget like this makes more sense. Moving on to the next one from Design Coco again, we have 1x7 scale Wandering Witch Elena, 27k September release. This is from Mega Hobby Expo last week. And kind of underwhelming at 27k, right? I keep supporting the Good Smile version. I keep telling you guys to get that one, but that one is pretty rare and expensive. I think there was a re-release, right? Yeah, that one is pretty expensive, but that one is worth picking up over this one. Only slightly more money, 30k. And with Elena, if I were to get figures of her today, I would settle for prize figures by Taito. Yeah, too many figures of her already. Moving up next, we have a re-release of Velvet Crow from Tales of Berseria by Kotobukiya, 14k only, June release next year. The only unfortunate thing about this figure is that it is 1/8 scale. I want 1/7 or bigger, but at 14k, great pricing. Re-released figures are always very cheap because they already have the steel flask, right? The flask they use for injection molding, that is the most expensive part in any figure. Once they have that part, they re-release it, they stick to the older prices instead of increasing it blindly. That is the nice thing about Japanese brands. And it is still worth picking up if you want this figure. It is so cheap after all, and it is very detailed. Moving up next, we have re-release of Shinobu Kocho from Demon Slayer, 15k at 1/8 scale, releasing next June. Any one of you accidentally broke this figure because you were hugging the figure too tightly after watching the movie? Hey, you know what I'm referring to, right? If you hugged the figure so tightly like what Doma did, then you need a replacement. Pre-order this if you have a broken figure of Shinobu Kocho or you don't have one yet. I actually like the Ultra version a bit more, but this is still not bad, right? And most importantly, this is cheap at 15,000 yen. Up next, we have Tomioka Gyu, where the Ultra version is a lot nicer looking in my opinion, and currently on re-release pre-order as well, 20,000 yen I believe, 21k, 20k. This one is only 14,000 yen, so it is still a good option if you are looking to save a bit of cash, right? Just that if there is one thing I don't like about this Gyu over here is that it feels like her skin is a tad bit too orange or too yellow. Yeah. I'm not sure if this is only an issue of the product pictures or the actual figure is like that, but if you compare it to the Ultra one from a week or 2 weeks ago, yeah, her skin is a bit too yellow, too orange to my liking. Moving up to the next one, now we finally enter low budget figure territory where there are a lot of stuff as well. The first one here is Holo from Spice and Wolf, and this was from Mega Hobby Expo last week. 8,300 yen, March release next year, a really good purchase actually. Of course, if you can afford premium scale figures, then pick up scale figures first. But this one is really good at 8,000 yen plus, pop-up rate L after all, right? It is a big figure. And the kind that Good Smile is very unlikely to screw up because very plain figure, just white clothes. As long the face and most importantly the mouth is good, right? Then this is a good purchase. So my recommendation is to wait until after release and check user pictures first. If it is good, then buy one. Moving up next, another pop-up red L size Anon Chihaya from Bang Dream. Yeah, the idols that you dream to bang. 8,000 yen, June release next year. Pretty nice for a low budget figure. I just love the details around her collars over here. Yeah, very intricate details over there for a low budget figure. I'm actually liking this quite a lot more than I initially expected. Moving up next, we have pop-up red L Ame L size from Needy Streamer Overload again, 8,000 yen, releasing in February next year. Yes, I like the Apex Toys one earlier a lot more, but that is more than double the price. This one, for being a pop-up red L, is also a very good purchase. Yes. There is a lack of shading, but that is to be expected. You know, the hot pink jacket over there, it is like just plain pink, no shading. So that is the main differentiator between low budget scale figures and the more expensive ones. At the same time, yeah, the Chinese brands, they still give us a shading anyway at the same price. So, I'm just nitpicking, I know. Moving up next, we have pop-up red Lara Tiber. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Warhammer Titan version L size, almost 9,000 yen April release. So they just needed to 3D print this thing in grey resin and they don't have to paint the figure at all. Now, it is PVC, but it is plenty detailed at least. Yeah, how many of you would actually collect stuff like this? Let me know in the comments below. I'm not interested. Moving up next, we have Pop-Up Red Marseille from Delicious in Dungeon, a re-release, 4,300 yen, February release next month. Next year, I mean. I have been talking for over 50 minutes and we are not even done with the genuine figure section yet. And I'm trying my best to be as quick as possible. So with Marseille, we have a couple of excellent scale figures, but the pop-up rate is not bad for this one, right? You can check out user pictures and decide whether you like it or not. And I think there is also a Tenitol figure, so you have plenty of options. Moving up next, we have Only and Only Slam Dunk Shohoku starting member set. A set of 5 by MIC for 25k. Yep, they are small figures, so kinda low budget in a way. And with Slam Dunk, you know what? Go and get third-party resins, so much nicer. Yeah. Moving up next, we have Melty Princess with Zero Emilia, a re-release by Mega House, 8,000 yen. So, tiny palm-sized figures for those of you living in very small apartments. You don't want big figures, but you want something of good quality. This is for you. Once again, I prefer it big. Yeah, bigger is better. Next one here, Melty Princess again, Onimai Mihari-chan from I'm Now Your Sister. So, this one is... I know, it looks low detail, isn't it? The hair, the bikini and everything. It almost feels like looking at the price figure. So 7,500 yen is a bit much for something this small. God, this is one of the worst value purchases this week. Terrible value, man. Even if you have limited space, I cannot recommend this at all. Up next, we have Doma. Yeah. The one who gave Shinobu Kocho a nice hug. But I heard that something like the tables will be turned in the second movie later on, right? I did not read the manga, so I can't even spoil you if I wanted to. But speaking of the hug, I believe that most of you who wanted to watch the movie, you would have watched it by now. So not exactly a spoiler anymore, except for the mainland Chinese where the movie has not officially aired in their country yet. So these figure arts Zero, like I mentioned earlier, they are small, but the quality, the paint job, everything is almost scale figure level, so they are pretty expensive. 12,600 yen, very pricey. Nope. A nope for me. Up next, we have re-releases. These figures have been re-released like 69 times already. Yeah. Tony Chopper from One Piece, 2,400 yen. Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece, 3,100 yen. And then we have Monkey D. Luffy Gear 4 3 Captains Battle of Monsters on Onigashima, 8,000 yen. And finally, the last figure on HLJ, same thing but Snake Man version, 7,200 yen after a small discount, April release. And that is all for Hobby Link Japan section, which took over 50 minutes on its own. Now we move on to Ami for some exclusive items and also edgy stuff. As usual, if you are enjoying or finding this video informative, helpful, please to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Now, the first one over here, these Toho figures by Alter, they have always been Ami exclusives, even back during their first release a year, 2 years ago. So I'm not too surprised by this one. And this Remila Scarlet over here getting a re-release is pretty much needed because the aftermarket value on this is pretty much insane, 50k and up. Yeah, so we saw also announcing new Toho figures, right, in Mega Hobby Expo. So this one over here, the existing ones getting a re-release is not too surprising. This Ami pack version is going for almost 39k and you're getting a wall scroll over there. The standard version is going for 35k. And of course, you are also getting a re-release of Flanger Scarlet for 35k. If you missed out your first chance a couple of years back, this is your second chance, pre-order it, even though they are pretty expensive. I've seen these two figures with my own eyes before. They may be a bit smaller than usual, but the craftsmanship, the paint work is next level. Yeah. Moving up next, we have Hatsune Miku and Gundam 45th Anniversary Collaboration by Mega House, 27,500 yen, releasing in September 2026. Yep, this figure is the one we saw at Mega Hobby Expo, and I said that I wasn't sure which Gundam series they are referring to. As it turns out, it is the oldest original Gundam series. Yeah. I think this is something for people who love both Gundam and Miku. For someone like me, I think this is a pretty generic Miku figure, and yeah, I would like something nicer, I suppose. But having a Miku holding the Haro itself, that is a pretty unique figure, so it really is up to you. Mega House figures in general, they are good, just that they tend to be on the expensive side of things. Up next, we have Bunny Suit Planning Yamomo Mami Color Variation. Pre-orders have closed, pre-orders have sold out, so tough luck if you are interested but you haven't pre-ordered it yet, because this is an Army exclusive. So this one, initially I thought this figure has been out in the past, right? Or at least on pre-order, and then I saw color variation. A different color version. Though I can't remember what the previous version looks like in color. 32,000 yen is pretty pricey, but Magi Arts, their figures are excellent. Yes, I haven't bought anything from them yet because they are not making the stuff I want. Well, they do have Sophia F showing really nice figures of her, which I'm interested in, but they are like 30,000 yen as well, not cheap. It is a premium Chinese figure brand, but the prices are high for a reason, right? Their stuff are pretty good. Right, moving on to the next one, Ami exclusive, Mega House GEM Akaza, 18,700 yen, releasing in April next year. So he punched a hole in Rengoku's stomach, and then now in the latest movie, they gave us a sob story to make you sympathize with him. I don't know what to feel, to be honest. Maybe I lack empathy, I don't know, but now that you know Akaza is a likable character, after seeing his backstory, would you pick this one up? For those of you who collect Demon Slayers, of course. I think his fighting style is pretty cool, at least, right? Martial arts. Moving on to the next one, we have Senkan Shoujo R Lexington Summer of the Ingleside version by Kelbone, 21,300 yen after a small discount. May 2026 release. So this is not an exclusive, and this is a Chinese brand, Kelbone. They have announced more Senkan Shoujo R figures in the recent Wonder Fest. Yeah, I'm filming that next. So I know nothing about this brand in terms of quality, right? But once again, Chinese brands, I have no problem trusting them nowadays. And Senkan Shoujo R, whatever that is, they have very nice characters. This price is reasonable, 21k for a 1x7 scale with quite a lot of stuff going on and a nice base. This product is an officially imported item with Chinese specifications, so this is China spec, right? And that explains why Hobby Link Japan does not have her on their website yet, at least at the time of recording this video. I don't know if they will ever list it. They are probably looking for suppliers for this figure. Right, this is not an exclusive, by the way. Right, moving up next, we have this figure by Siki Anim. I think Hobby Japan will list this in this coming week, right? In just a matter of days. It is not an exclusive, and there are 3 versions of this figure. Champagne and Bunny Girl Rose Black Stocking version, 1x6 scale by Siki Anim, 8,400 yen. And then there is a second version over here, White Stocking, same price, releasing in June. And a third version over here, Barrel Legs. If you ask me which one to choose, it is very easy. I go for this classic black stocking because of the paintwork, right? I mean, the shading on the stocking there looks fabulous, and I want to see that in my figure. I have just reviewed a figure by Siki Anim a week ago, or was it 2 weeks ago? Excellent. So I have high expectations for this figure, and I will be getting one myself. Yes, I will be getting this black stockings version. from their age-restricted section. Ulrich original character Nagisa Hayami 1/5.5 scale by Native, 34K, it is customable, and June release 2026. I love this character design. The pose and everything, fantastic. And interestingly, Native is creating a safe forward version, a non-customable version for just under 30,000 yen. I'm not sure if Native has done anything like this before. This could be the first time they're offering a safe forward figure. And my guess for the reason why they are doing this is because of the Chinese market. Yes, for those in China, officially you can't get the 18 plus versions, but it is not impossible. You can still find it actually. Yeah, you just need to know the right person or the right store. Some of them, they find ways to stock those things in. That was how I got my hands on an 18 plus priority look figure and reviewed it on this channel from China, not from Japan. Not impossible. By the way, Native is like, they are the flag bearer of what edgy figures are like from Japan. The very best out there. Native, yeah. So that figure earlier, it is a no-brainer. Now the next one here, also by Native, interestingly, yeah, Binding is a branch of Native after all. They are 1/4 skill branch. We have Binding Creator's Opinion, Hinata Asaka 1/4 skill, 40k. Now this one, her face, her character design is a bit bland, but if you collect Binding's 1/4 skill Barney series, you'll want to add her to your collection, I suppose. Yep, customable and releasing in February next year. Up next, from Pink Cat, also an excellent edgy figure brand, we have Mataro Original Illustration Casino Bunny 1/6 scale, 30k, February release as well. Now this is like too little clothes for me to enjoy the figure. I prefer those that are kind of teasing you, half Hadaka, you have a bit of clothes on, and then you have a bit of Hadaka parts visible, right? I like it partial rather than too much Hadaka. Yeah, too much is not as exciting, but at the same time, I wish that we get to see this kind of sight in casinos. Generic bunny girl, except she is almost Hadaka. Nothing much to see over here. Up next, we have two versions, right? Is it 2 versions or 4 versions of this figure? Night Queen by Lim Land, edgy figure brand but from China. The 27k for this red color version. And then we have different color version, white hair, black outfit, 27k as well. Customable. 2 versions, I prefer the red color one given the choice. And the pose of this is a bit problematic, which is why I'm drawing lines all over the picture, even though the picture is supposedly okay for YouTube. But, you know, YouTube does not like it when they detect something that is similar to opening your legs wide open. So even if you are a dude like me and then you sit in front of a camera and open your legs wide, even if you're wearing pants or shorts, yeah, that will still trigger the algorithm. So I need to draw boxes all over it, just to confuse the AI algorithm a bit. Right, and up next, we have 4 versions of this figure. Very interesting. So, would you please marry me 1/6 scale complete figure EX edition Rooted Hair by Her Love, edgy figure brand. Is it from China? I think it is. Her Love. I can't be sure, man. Yes, it is a Chinese brand. There we go. This product is an officially imported item with Chinese specifications. Alright, this is 35k after a generous discount. 4,000 yen of discount. Nice. So there are 2 versions over here for the EX edition. Rooted hair and also unrooted hair. Basically, do you want a bush down there or do you want it cleanly shaven? Pick your choice, right? And yep, it is customable both top and bottom. And then there is a standard version. 31,000 yen almost each for bush version or cleanly shaved version. Well, the difference between standard and deluxe, this is very interesting, right? The deluxe version of this figure, you're getting a bouquet of flowers inside the box for some reason. And it is made of real dry flower. You can scroll down to the pictures, the description below, it is mentioned over there. Dry flower included in the box for some reason, and I don't know if I want to pay an additional 5,000 yen for dried flowers. I would take the standard version. It looks like both versions, like the standard and the DX one, you're getting the same number of parts when it comes to cast off. So why am I paying 5,000 yen for a bouquet of dried flowers? I don't know. It is a nice novelty, I suppose, but that is too much. So that is all for Army section. Now we move on to Nin game for Be Full Inside Fort Japan figures. We'll go through them as quickly as possible. Here we have Futanari One-chan, hey, 22k by Inside. This is a re-release because people actually buy them, releasing in June 2026. The next one here we have Futa again, OL Juna 1/6 scale, 22k, releasing in April. Up next we have Minase Sui 1/5 scale, 24k, releasing in April. Lolly. Next up, this is the Save for Work version, kind of, I suppose. School swimsuit version under Fort Japan, 24k, April release as well. Of course, you buy the Hadaka one. Easy choice. Next one, there are 4 versions of this figure. So, welcome Hani Paximitsu Kumamo Barrelhead version, 1/6 scale by Inside, roughly 22k, I think. Releasing in April, and this is the Fort Japan version. So when they say barrelhead, you can replace her head with a mascot barrelhead, literally. 22k releasing in April. And then there is this one which is a bit cheaper without the barrelhead, 20k releasing in April, and also the Fort Japan version. Right, moving up next we have Gucci, Dekai Opai Housewife and the Secret Swimming Class. This is the Hadaka version, re-release, 22k by Inside, April release, and the Save for Work version by Fort Japan, 22k as well, April release. And finally, we have Tsubaki, Neighbor Lady Tsubaki 1/6 scale. That is way too big, man, the chest. For 22k, April release, and also a different color version. Different name, but to me, it is just different color. Kasumi, 22k, April release. Why does everyone decide to put things on pre-order this week, including Be Full and Inside, even when they are not involved with One Fest? Man, that is pretty annoying. So this is all for genuine figures on pre-order this week alone. A lot of stuff, but we are not done yet. Let's move on to third-party resin figures, which fortunately are not as many in comparison. Okay, so for third parties, we are going for OSGK, which is a partner of this channel for the third party section. And a few of the Chinese style figures over here, they are actually Wonder Festival Shanghai stuff. Yeah, I will go through those as quickly as possible because I would imagine that not too many people are interested in those very niche products. And also, I don't have much of an opinion on those figures to begin with. I'm just covering them as an obligation, what is new this week on pre-order. Yeah. So moving on to the next one here, the first section is the original character section. We have 3 silicone dolls over here, life-sized, you know, plastic waifus, for those of you who don't want to date a real person. So this is from Basilia Kikyo CF Series number 3 makeup doll, 3,500 yen, no, 3,500 US dollars, my bad. 3,500 yen, funny. Okay, releasing in January. After all, it is just a Hadaka doll where they dress up and put a different head on. The next one here from the same brand, we have Dancer by G makeup doll number 2, 3,500 US dollars as well, almost December release. Very nice face, this one, if you go through the pictures, right? I'm too lazy to go through the pictures and having to censor every single one. And then the third one over here, this is nice as well, same brand, Wind Chime number 3 makeup number 2.2. $3,600 for this one. Whenever I say something is nice, it turns out to be a bit more expensive. So you can go through the pics yourself. Yeah. Is this based on a specific Blue Archive character? I think it is, right? They can't mention the name because of copyright reasons, but I think it is. Alright, moving on to the next one. Oh, another one over here. $2,900 life-sized, releasing in January. Man, these things are so realistic that it is kind of scary in some ways. Right, okay, up next, finally figures. Okay, so this is an original character by Polaris Studio and it feels like they ripped off Ayanami Rei and Ghost in the Shell. They are mixing 2 or 3 things up into one single figure over here. Ex Machina Link, 1x4 scale, $445. There are 2 versions, black and purple. The one I seeing on screen. Yeah, very shiny with LED, I think. And then we have a platinum version. Black one is fantastic. Right, so let's have a look over here. It looks really nice for sure. Very cyberpunk-ish feel. This is a realistic version of Ayanami Rei, isn't it? Very lovely colors indeed. Yeah, the white one is not as nice. I would take the black one over here. Up next, we have Lightyear Studio Jiren series Ling Luan 1x4 scale. Ling Luan, okay, whatever. $490. Feels like I'm looking at a Honkai style character. What was her name again? It is not her, there are some differences. Just looks like a bit. And releasing in June 2026. This is from Wonder Festival Shanghai, by the way. Yeah, they were displaying some of these figures, these statues in Wonder Festival Shanghai. We will talk briefly about it in my upcoming video. I won't be covering these licensed Chinese figure brands from Wonder Festival Shanghai because of the difficulty to get any pictures for them. Yeah. Next one over here, also from Wonder Festival Shanghai, Orange Soda Collectibles and Yuewen Hao. We have okay, whatever. I'm too lazy to read the title. I've been talking for so long. So this one is going for 2 figures over here. $194 for the black version. And this one is 403. Different scale, I think. What is up with the price difference over here? Yep, different size. One of them is 21.5 cm. The other one is 29 cm. No, the height, the difference 34 and 39. But still, that is not exactly a big difference. Is this a dude or female? I'm not too sure, man. Right, moving up next, we have Shi Yue Wutong Studio Jade Dynasty Xiao Bai. Little White, literally. 1x6 scale, $788 at 1x6 scale because this is a huge statue. September release next year. This is from Wonder Festival Shanghai as well. Well, not too surprising why she is so expensive. Damn! Okay, I don't think anyone will want a 1x4 of this thing. Too big. And look at the texture on her sleeves, right? Yeah. The kind of things you get when you buy resin statues. This thing is massive. Looks great, but I won't buy it. Not my kind of thing. Moving up next, this figure was also displayed in Wonder Festival Shanghai, coming from Jometal Studio and Tencent. We have Throne of Steel Shengchai 1x6 scale, $430, releasing in December 2026. Looks like your average RPG character from a Chinese game. Man, the details are fantastic. I love it. It feels like looking at a realistic version of Jingliu from Honkai Star Rail even. Up next, we have Tiancheng Studio Ning Yue Dear, I think, Dear not Die. 1x4 scale, no price, no release date yet, early bird announcement. Yeah, Wonder Fest stuff again, Wonder Fest Shanghai. One single picture, and then up next, we have Yofeng Studio Jade Dynasty Lu Xieqi, 1x4 scale, no price, no release date yet, one single picture over here. All of these are Wonder Fest Shanghai stuff, man. Same thing, Stargazer, a new figure brand. They are making both resin and PVC figures. I will cover their PVC figures in my next Wonder Fest Shanghai video this coming Tuesday, I think. So this is a resin statue, Night Parade of 100 Demons Hu Shou Long Yue. 1x4 scale, $669, releasing in, okay, no release date yet. This is like a Chinese version of Yamato for One Piece. Alright, cool. No comment. Up next, from Juhun Create Studio, licensed as well, Demon Slaying Girl Aya 1x4 skill, $3.99 for a licensed 1/4. Nice. So, okay, October 2026 release. This also reminds me of a very specific anime character. I think it was from Akame ga Kill, though that girl was using huge cannons, not a sword. And also, another girl from High School of the Dead. It is like a realistic version of her, you know. Details are outstanding on this one, and the price is really cheap for 1x4. Right, up next, we have 3 Artisan Studio, Wonder Festival Shanghai again, and early bird pre-orders, no prototype, nothing, just artwork. Dead Prince illustration, Mystic Lady Swiss Luna 1x6 scale. The second one here, we actually have product pictures, 3 Artisan Studio, Lilith, right, from the same artist, no price, no release date yet. Oh, that is nice. This kind of art style I actually like, you know. It is not realistic. It is somewhere in between realistic style and anime style. Yeah. I don't have much comments otherwise, and I know nothing about these brands, so might as well move on to the next figure as quickly as possible. Same studio, Dead Prince illustration again, Serafina, no price, no release date yet. Anime style characters, finally, because these Chinese GK brands, they keep making realistic stuff. And PJ Studio, they have a very good track record, excellence even when it comes to resin statues. Their first 2 or 3 releases, there were issues with parts starting to crack over time, right? But since then, I haven't heard much complaints about them anymore. So this is Nine-Tailed Spirit. Yeah, Nine-Tailed Fox in Chinese and even Japanese folklore. $728. No scale over here, but this thing is massive. September release 2026. The height is 65.5 cm. This is obviously the Chinese version. Wow. This is almost too realistic. It is like a real person, man. This is why PJ Studio is pretty unique, even amongst so many GK brands from China making realistic stuff. Yeah, original characters or not. Wow. I mean, I don't even collect stuff like this, but I'm just speechless. This thing is beautiful. 728 bucks is actually... I mean, yes, it is expensive, but given what you're getting, I'm not too surprised at all. Moving up next, finally, anime stuff. This is still an original character, Sir Rouge, 1x3 scale Miyako, $499. March 2026 release, and this is castable, both top and bottom. You know what? No thank you. This will cost me more than $499. I need to pay for shipping, and I also need to buy her Ozempic, so no thank you. Alright, moving on to the next one here from Anonymous Studio. Okay, now we are moving into anime characters territory. Bao Nami from One Piece. We call this a birthday suit, and this is a pretty good one. I actually like it. $189 at 1x6 scale, no release date yet. The face is also nice. I love it. I kind of want one myself, but I don't collect One Piece stuff. Up next, we have Asuka from Evangelion by Wei Yang Studio, $170 at 1x6 scale, no release date yet. This is a bit bland, but yeah, I suppose that if you don't have a figure of Asuka playing games, then maybe you can add this to a collection, but this one is not too special in any way. Moving up next, we have one of the main highlights among third parties this week, Sayano Ota from Alice 21 Studio, $223. $233, my bad. 1x6 scale, releasing this December. One thing you need to know about Alice 21 Studio is that they are excellent. This is a third-party resin brand that I can vouch for. Yes. So many figures before this, the one we just went through, I know nothing about those brands other than maybe PJ Studio. But Alice 21, yes, I've seen so many pictures of their figures. They make amazing stuff. The only problem with this figure is that we have competition from other brands. Magic Arts has announced a 1/6 scale of her and it looks fabulous. Yeah, Wonder Fest stuff will go through that one this Tuesday. So competition from Magic Arts, which is also a 1/6 scale, now this one becomes a bit less attractive. But at the same time, there are not too many Sayano Uta figures, so maybe pick one up if you like her a lot. Moving up next, we have CC from Code Geass by Manta Studio. This is like their 3rd or 4th CC figure. They sure love this character. So this is going for starting from $134. I knew this would not cost $255, right? Too expensive. But $255 is for getting both, which is unnecessary. Black or white version. The choice is easy. I will take the black version. I think the colors pop even more. Yeah. White version is just like plain white pajamas, you know, or shirt, white shirt. So the black one over here, we get more color contrast. We have some great colors over here. Is this like a uniform? Yeah, military uniform. Looks way better, no contest. So yep, I will take version A, the black version, $134 only. Manta Studio has a track record of multiple CC figures like I just mentioned, which means they are very good at it, right? The face accuracy, the face sculpt, yeah, they're very good at it. Moving on to the next one here, one of the main highlights this week from Meng Yaxiang Studio with Kiwi Araga Leopard from Gushing Over Magical Girls, and this is perhaps her best figure, both third party and genuine ones. Of course, you may say that the one by Fat Company, was it Fat, where she is wearing micro bikini, you might say that that is better because more fan service. And I won't deny that, but in terms of sophistication, the most detailed figure of Kiwi Araga, this is the best one. As for Meng Yaxiang Studio, they are doing great figures nowadays. Another brand that I would say you can go for it if you like her. Yeah, it is a pretty safe pre-order in short. Right, moving up next. Oh, from Crown Studio, we have Roxy Tentacles from Mushoku Tensei. Okay, there are 2 versions over here. Different face and also pregnant version. So the one with the normal face is the normal version, regular version, $215. The pregnancy version is also the one where you get an Ahegao face, and probably the one you should go for because there are not many pregnant figures out there to begin with. So this is also $215, releasing in December 2026, right? You can get both for $368, but why? I think it is unnecessary. Yeah. Up next, we have Reize from Chainsaw Man by BGA Studio. Trendy clothing, which in this case means only jacket and almost completely hadaka. So I can't show the front too much. You can get her in 1/4 scale at $349, which is a great price, or 1/6 scale at $191. Yeah, go and get the 1/4. Unfortunately, you can't cast off. This is all you get though. Yeah, releasing in September 2026, and I actually do like her face quite a bit over here. Though the best Reize figure is the one I covered last week, and I don't even remember the brand anymore. Should be easy to find in Oz GK, right? Moving up next, we have Power from Chainsaw Man by Tianyan Studio, and this is among the best Power figure I've seen in the past 1 year or so. 1/4 scale, version A is $433, version B $433 as well. I think there is a slight difference in the outfit and the face. And EX version is only $466, so for an additional $33, you get all of the parts, right? So get the EX version over here. And the reason why I said this is among the best is simply because of the face. This is a photoshopped picture, but even without photoshopping, her face looks fantastic. Yes. This is what the full figure looks like. So, was it $466? Yep, $466 for all of this is a very reasonable price in my opinion. Tianyan Studio or TY Studio is also a brand you should keep an eye on. They are making fabulous figures. I think they have excellent Inuyasha stuff, right? If I remembered correctly. A brand that I can also say that it is safe to pre-order. This thing is amazing. Oh yeah, they are the ones who made that Makima. I have already forgotten. And they have a Reize coming up as well. Oh. But so far, this power is the better looking one between the two. Right. Moving up next, we have Reze from Chainsaw Man by 7 Studio. Yeah, because of the new movie, they keep pumping out these new figures over here. Though the face on this is kind of a train wreck, I don't like it at all. 1x4 scale, 2 versions. Version A, $297. Version B, swimsuit, okay, $297 and a set for $519. I would settle for $297 or perhaps don't buy this at all. I think the face is not good. Oh, what the heck is this? This is terrible, man. And I'm surprised that they messed up her face because this is a 1x4. By right, it should be a lot easier when the figure is big, but this is terrible. There are better options out there. Up next, another Reze by New Age Studio and Nightwing Studio. So version A, the one you're seeing on screen, 1x6 scale, $191. Version B, okay, casual outfit, $191. And version C, Hadaka apron, $191. And then you can buy any two for $317, or you can get all three for $434. If I had to choose, I'll take this office outfit. Yep, this office outfit over here. This is my favorite. And this is also her default outfit, I think. That smile, that smirk face, lovely. This is how you do the face of Reze. The one earlier at 1x4 scale is horrible. Moving up next, oh wow. Broken Miku. Why not call it Bukake Miku? Okay, Spider Studio has this Broken Miku over here. 2 versions, you can get it at $198 each. And when you're getting a cultured Miku figure like this, you go for the Ahegao face, absolutely. That is the version I would go for. Moving up next, another Miku over here by Unique Art Studio. This one is from Wonder Festival Shanghai, licensed figure brand. So the unlicensed third-party brands, they don't get to join Wonder Fest, right? Yeah, because they need to be copyrighted. Everything there has to be licensed. So this one is a licensed brand, Unique Art Studio, Hatsune Miku, 1x6 scale. No price yet, no release date yet. I think whether how well this one will sell will depend on the pricing. Yeah, I prefer the one on the right easily. I think that eye over there, that sleek eye, is a lot nicer looking. The left one is more like a cuter version, bigger, rounder eyes. I would prefer the one on the right over here, right? Even the outfit, I also prefer the one on the right. Moving up next, Unique Art Studio, we have Linkage by Ye Kui, so many figures of her. 1x6 scale, no price yet, $199 is tentative price, could be lower. Let's have a closer look at her face. Okay, looks pretty good. Only one single picture so far from Wonder Fest Shanghai. And then the next one here, Yuan Hao and PPDF Studio. Oh, if it is PPDF Studio and Yuan Hao, these two brands working together, this could be a PVC figure instead of resin. Yeah, these two brands are known for PVC stuff as well. So it won't be $999, more like $199, I think. Too early to tell, of course. There's nothing mentioned over here when it comes to the material. And the face here is fantastic. Is that like an outer space suit or something? But she's not wearing a helmet. I actually like this a lot more than I initially thought. Oh, yeah, a spacesuit. Man. Wow. You know me, I told you guys I love science fiction stuff. And even though this one does not come with big swords or big guns, I still like it. The face is a banger, man. I like this one a lot. Next one, a bust figure from Linkage as well by YHKT Entertainment and Lightyear Studio. No price, no release date yet. No matter how many times I see this, reminds me of Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, this is like the Chinese version of Ghost in the Shell, man. You're getting separate faceplates. Okay. And this is life-sized bust figure, 1x1 scale. So this is not going to be cheap, but it is very nice. Like, I am not even a bust figure person. I don't collect them, but if you give me one of these things, you offer me a really good price, yeah, I'll buy it, I'll display it somewhere, because this looks fantastic, man. Right, up next, we are more than 1.5 hours in. Oh god. Okay, PA Create Studio. We are now in game characters territory, by the way. So PA Create Studio, we have Alice Stellar Blade crossover. So last week, or was it the week before, you guys pointed out that a similar figure to this, it was a crossover. It was Eve cosplaying as Scarlet. Yeah, that was my bad. Just that I did not realize that it was Eve because I really couldn't tell. Like the face feels like a generic realistic character. I couldn't tell that was Eve's face, so it did not cross my mind. This one is a lot more obvious in comparison. So version A over here, 1x4 scale, $431. The one you're seeing on screen. Version B, $465. Realistic version of Alice, I can't say I like it. And version C, yeah, you get everything in the box for $501. Man, Alice is about cuteness, it is about kawaii. This is too matured looking. Yeah, can't say I like it. I just love her pink suit, but that is it. Everything else, I'm not sure. This is like a pretty weird crossover to me. Moving on to the next one, Miyin Studio is coming up with licensed stuff. Interesting. So they appeared in Wonder Festival, as you can see in the pictures over here. They were there, but none of the websites I visited to collect my Wonder Fest material even covered them. Yeah, so this Wonder Fest Shanghai coverage is beginning to become quite the nightmare for me when it comes to collecting materials and make sure that I don't miss out on anything, and that is not including resin stuff by Chinese brands. I'll go into detail on what happens later on this Tuesday. So Miyin Studio, they are normally an unlicensed third-party resin figure brand, but I'm surprised to see them getting into licensing now, which is a good sign, you know. It means that they are confident enough about the quality and their craftsmanship, and then they are getting approvals as well from the license holder. Because even if you wanted the license and you can afford to pay it, it does not mean you will get it very easily. There is a certain amount of standard that needs to be met, right? A demand from the original license holder before they even grant you the license. So if Miyin Studio is able to get licensed, yeah, they are doing very well. Their figures are good enough to get that recognition. So this is Scarlet from Nikke, 1x6 scale, $215, June release next year. And this is a very good figure of her, just that I think the Good Smile version is very similar to this one, right? No, Ultra version. Too many figures of Scarlet, I get confused. Ultra also announced the same thing, I think, but 1x7 scale. So this might be a tough sell, except for people who want it bigger at 1x6 scale. Looking good, however, yeah. The next Nikke figure by Miyin Studio, licensed as well, is Cinderella, $130, releasing in June next year. Her melons are so heavy that she needed that table to support it. Cinderella, I will be very happy with the Hobby Sakura 1x4 scale, and at most I will get another 1x7 scale, and that is it. I won't buy more, so this one is not even on my radar. The next one here, the third one, is Alice by Miyin Studio, also licensed, $130 only, releasing in June 2026. Let me check below. Is this PVC or... No, it is not PVC. It is resin and polyurethane. Yeah, I wish that it was PVC. Alice, I am going to end up with so many figures of her. Yes, I already have one. I ordered a second one. And who knows if one day I get a 1x4 as well. I don't know yet. Yes. So this one, I won't be picking one up because there are too many already. Up next, from FGO or Fate Stay Night. Really depends. No, this is not from Fate Stay Night. Jen Diak did not appear in Fate Stay Night. Coming from XPIC Studio, we have 1x4 scale Jen and Jen Alter. So these are 1x4 scales, and regular version starts at $481. Deluxe version, you get an additional torso, like shows more skin, but then no Hadaka stuff, unfortunately. And then you can get Gen Diak Alto separately as well. Can go all the way to $1,000 depending on what combination you go for. So I want a close look of a face. At least they are doing anime face, you know, not realistic face. I hate those realistic face so much. Yep, this is the second torso I was talking about, right? It looks pretty nice, pretty hot, but no cast off. Yep. What do you think about her face? I think there is a bit of difference. It does not look like the Gen Diak I know. And this whole thing, including the flag, is 60 cm. Wow. Can't say I like this one, even though they gave me my anime face finally. I'm sorry, Xpix Studio. I think there is still something off about the face. It doesn't look like the Gen Diak that I know of from the anime or from the game. Up next, we have Prisoner Saber. Hey, the same one we saw in Unlimited Blade Works. By EXE Studio, $191, not a bad purchase if you want a figure of her, a figure of Saber in this compromised position. And you're getting two faceplates, the normal one and the Ahegao one. Nice job, X Studio. Releasing in June 2026. Man, I kind of want one. Right, moving on. Moving on to the next one, this is just an artwork, but guess what? They already have a price of $197. Miyu Edelfelt from Fate Khalid Liner Prisma Ilya by HFK Studio. And this artwork is apparently what the figure will look like, but no comment from me because I need to see the actual figure. Releasing in June 2026. Next one here, we have Dragonstone Studio. They are back recasting licensed genuine GK figures from Japan. So this is Professor Nia from Blue Archive, $162 at 1/7 scale. March 2026 release, and I am very sure that this is a recast because I accidentally came across a video by Tsukima Sangyo on YouTube where we got to see him painting the original, the genuine version of this GK over here, right? Yeah. But if you want a completed version of this figure because you suck in painting just like I do, then stuff like this are still an option. Unethical, yes, it is kind of like bootlegging at this point, but people still buy them anyway, right? Okay, moving on to the next one here, HFK Studio again, Amao Ako from Blue Archive. And once again, they are taking pre-orders based on an artwork. 1/6 scale, $352. Those tentacles have to cost a lot of money, I suppose. I do like the pose and everything, like the tentacles are removing her stockings from her. Interesting. Releasing in June. This is something I will be keeping an eye on because I want to see what the finished figure looks like. Moving up next, we have one of the better figures this week. I would even say this is a main highlight this week. If you put aside all of the realistic face Chinese figures earlier from One Fest. So coming from New Age Studio, we have Fu Xian from Honkai Star Rail. Two versions over here. Uniform version, the one you're seeing on screen, $170 at 1/6 scale, which is very reasonable. And there is a swimsuit version, which is also just as attractive, $170, or you can get both for $300. The best part about this figure is the face. She is cringing at you, posting lewd pictures of her on the internet. And regardless of which version you get, the face is the same. Tough choice because this one has lower detail, but you get to see her opai, even though it is being taped up. And then this one, school uniform, more details, but no pechapai, right? Pechapai means small opai. Moving up next, this would be the last figure this week from Ship Girl Studio, Shanghai from Azur Lane, 1/6 scale, $216. Yeah, pretty smoking hot, right? The pose and everything. And you should look at the additional pictures posted by OzGK, which I couldn't show on screen. Look at pictures of her backside. Fabulous, man. March 2026 release, $216, pretty reasonable, and the face looks good. Yeah, so up to you really. Ship Girl Studio has been making a lot of Azur Lane figures. They already have stuff out, released out there. Look for the user pictures and then decide whether it is good enough for you. And that is all for figures on pre-order this week. A lot of stuff. Which one is something you will hit the pre-order button? Let me know down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed this video or found it informative, please do give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content every week. We have One Fest stuff coming in 2 days, so please subscribe to stay updated. Until then, thanks a lot for watching and I will see you soon. Goodbye.